Okay, welcome back to the Are You Strong show. I have an awesome guest who's back in New Jersey, living back in New Jersey. But before I say her name, she spent over 16 years in television as an anchor, news anchor, reporter, and made a career decision to get into the NIL athletic space not too long ago. She's the founder of the NIL School, which was created. It created a comprehensive NIL educational platform. She's the chief executive officer of Influential Athlete. It's the number one NIL coaching company for student athletes with a focus on, which I love, this female athletes,
Mhm.
which is unique. Okay. And she works directly with student athletes, the parents of the athletes. I can only imagine how that goes down. High school athletes, universities, clubs, and organizations. Welcome to the show, Steph Grady.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're here. I can't wait to dive into two things. One, I can't wait to hear what was the motivational factor to go from television to this,
Yeah.
and then how you
People
went
thought I
from,
was crazy.
I would imagine, and then how you went into this, but you're specializing in female athletes, which is great.
hmm
So before I ask you a ton of questions, why don't you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of roll from there.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, you did a pretty good introduction as to what's going on in my life right now, but I've had a lot of chapters. I think first and foremost, I'm a mom. I have three young kids, two sons and a daughter, 12, 7, and 4. So
You're
that's my
busy.
first, that very, very busy. Yeah, that's our first priority, my husband Joe and I. But yeah, I was a television news anchor for most of my career. Prior to that, I was an internationally competitive figure skater. So I come from the background of being an athlete. And then I went into the world of television after an injury pulled the carpet out from underneath me when it came to my
Okay.
future aspirations as a skater. And then after being in TV for a long time, and my husband Joe comes from a background of athletic administration. So he was an athletic director and a coach and a club director for almost 20 years. And NIL came about, and we started watching what was happening, and we were seeing kids being taken advantage of. We were seeing this opportunity go to waste for a lot of kids who could use it for leverage for other
Yeah.
reasons. And we decided that we wanted to start something. We wanted to start not a sports agency, but rather an NIL education company to fill the gap that exists for most families. NIL exists. They
hmm
kind of know what it is. They're not really sure. They have no idea how to take advantage of it and what the
Yeah.
path is. And so we give it to them.
Yeah. So but let's go backwards in time, like go way back. You
Sure.
said figure skating.
Yeah.
When you watch that on TV as a spectator, a guy sitting on a couch, I'm like, how hard can that be? But it's like it's extremely hard. It's almost like you forget they're on skates. It's like they're running
Well,
around.
you know what's funny is that my daughter and I, we went to an ice rink, which to be honest with you, I rarely do. I feel like it's a past life. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's part of my current, it's very bizarre for me. I don't know if I had just had like a very traumatic ending and that's what does it for me. But we went to an ice rink and I was spinning because she was like, show me some spins, and I'm spinning and I'm like, I'm gonna puke. I'm gonna
Yeah.
puke. I'm gonna do it. And I remember people asking me all the time when I skated, like, don't you get so dizzy? And I'm like, no, of course I don't. And I'm like, no, you do. You get
Yeah.
really dizzy.
Yeah.
It's so, I can't believe that I could do what I could do. Because now I go out there and I'm like, oh, my feet hurt. I,
Yeah, your
I
feet are,
can't,
yeah. But how, I mean, you see the skaters when they're doing those pirouettes, spinning
Yeah.
around, so like how do they not fall down and get dizzy? Like what keeps them from being dizzy?
Skill, Jeff. It's just skill.
Is it?
Yeah.
But are
It's the
you like
same thing for
focusing on something? What are you
No,
doing?
you don't. No, you're not spotting like a dancer does or anything like
Right?
that. I mean, there's a lot of physics involved with skating, obviously. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember, I mean, my entire skating career, coaches out there with these giant Sharpies and they'd be drawing on the ice and showing, like, okay, well, your edge was this way, so you weren't getting the hook that you needed,
Yeah.
which is why your spin wasn't as fast as the one before that. There's a lot of physics involved. And
Yeah.
so, um, I don't think that your audience would want to get into that necessarily, and I'm certainly no physicist, but
Yeah.
there's I don't know. I think it comes down to just anything else, right? Like, how is any athlete really good at whatever it is that they do? How can gymnasts walk across balance beams when
Yeah,
I
like
can't
that's
walk on a
crazy
curb,
too.
you know? Like,
Yeah. But it's amazing what they do. And now the Olympics are starting, right now, so we get to see the ice
yeah,
skating,
I know.
and do we have any good competitors for this time around?
You know what's crazy? And I think that this is something that I've done subconsciously. I've kind of removed myself from knowing
Okay.
who the top people are. I rarely ever watch skating. I have no idea. For a long time, for about 10 years, everyone you saw on TV, I mean, was people either that were training at rinks that I was at or, knew through other people or had coaches that I, worked with.
Yeah.
And so, but now, gosh, I'm old now, so I'm so far removed. I just don't keep up,
Yeah.
nor do I necessarily have the desire to,
Yeah.
So,
Because you got a whole new thing going on. That's
I
exciting.
mean, I got a whole lot of stuff going
Yeah.
on. I mean, like
Yeah.
I had kids screaming before I was coming in here. So I got a lot going on.
So what was the motivating factor to go from broadcasting journalism to this? Like, what was like,
Why did
did you
you
wake up
jump
one
off
day and
the
say, holy
cliff?
smoke? Yeah. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, right? I spent so much time dedicating so much of my life to this career, 17 plus years, moving all over the place, not knowing anybody, making no money out of the gate. Um, I've always been very entrepreneurial, first and foremost. I've
Hmm.
always wanted something of my own that I could run, that I could develop and create and whatever. And when NIL came about, we started watching this. And I started getting to that point of my television career where I had kind of done and checked all the boxes that I wanted to check for myself, other than working for one of the major news networks, which I had opportunities to and I turned down
Yeah.
because quality of life. I had three kids now. Like it was different than when I was, 25 years old and single and
Yeah.
no kids,
Right.
or married and no kids. And so I think that I just got to this point where I wanted a new challenge and I really like challenges. And I knew that I could utilize my skills for good and
Yeah.
inspire people. And I got sick of the negativity of news. I think that was a big part of it too.
There's nothing positive on the news anymore.
It was eating a piece of me. And I
Yeah.
think being a mom, it was making me paranoid. It has an impact on your
Yeah.
psyche, I think, in a
Sure. Of
sense. And
course.
so I just was kind of done with that. And I wanted to take a bet on myself. I knew that I could do it. I knew that I could create something. It was a good idea. It hadn't been done, which is a good thing and a bad thing because there's
Yeah.
no model to follow.
Yep.
Has been building from scratch, just trying to figure it out with some mentors in place. And let's figure out how it works, and help
Yeah.
these kids. And we've done a really good job and we've developed a pretty good reputation because of it pretty quickly.
So you just said the word mentor. Like, who was your influence? Who was a mentor for you that like gave you the inspiration to do this?
So I don't think anyone gave me the inspiration to do this. I think that came from within. My
Okay.
husband is I'm much more of the risk taker. Like, come on, let's just do it. And he's like, we
Yeah.
haven't thought about any of this. I'm like, who cares? We'll figure it out, right? Like, just jump out of the plane, build the parachute on the way down type of
Yeah.
person. That's how I've always been. And I think that that serves me in the role that I'm in now as an entrepreneur and a CEO. But in terms of somebody who mentored me, so when we were originally trying to come up with what exactly we wanted to do and who we wanted to help and how we wanted to serve athletes or non-athletes or whatever, there's a guy, his name is Harvey. He's awesome. He was a business consultant, had his own consulting agency for a long time, lived next to my parents. My parents were like, oh, you should talk to this guy, Harvey. He's really smart, whatever. And honestly, we just developed this relationship where he is probably the most cynical person I've ever met in my life and was
Really?
exactly what I needed because he challenged me on everything. He's like, you don't want to do this. Just
Hmm.
go back to your TV contract. What are you doing? Like, just
Yeah.
you're cushy. You don't have to do anything. You sit there, you look. I'm like, oh, I don't have to do it. So
Yeah.
he just was that type, but it was his way of
He was
testing
doing it on
me,
purpose.
of
Yeah.
making sure that I wasn't just doing it for all
Yeah.
the wrong reasons, of like having the website and having the title and like all that
Yeah.
superficial stuff versus the real boring work of entrepreneurship and
Yeah.
being ready for that. So
Yeah.
I think he was instrumental in terms of helping me thicken up the skin and answer the tough questions that needed to
Yeah.
be answering.
So what was day one like?
That's so funny because people ask that. My contract with my station in Milwaukee was done October 15th. It was my last day on air. And we had a big goodbye thing and all that sort of stuff. It had been known for about 6 weeks at this point. It had been public knowledge. And so that was my last night. And I had everything prepared and I had told everybody that like everything goes live at midnight, October 16th. Everyone's like, you're not like taking a break for a little bit and just I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding? I have to capitalize off this bounce, right? I'm
Yeah.
leaving. I've been there for a long. There's a bounce that happens with that, a PR bounce. And so I want to capitalize off that. And it worked to my favor. I mean, we had a lot of appearances in different media outlets and all that sort of stuff that just helped with getting the name out there. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest hurdle to cross when you're a new business owner is
Yeah.
just doesn't matter how amazing, doesn't matter if you're giving out $1 million every day. If people don't know about you, they never know to come to
Yeah.
you. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that I was crazy to jump off the cliff. I'm definitely still building the parachute, but I'm so happy I did it, and I never would have done it any other way.
And it sounds like you haven't hit the ground yet, so you're good.
Haven't hit the ground.
Yeah.
Haven't hit the
Right.
ground. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Was
Yeah.
profitable year one. Super
Wow.
excited.
That's big. Almost no one's profitable year one.
No debt, profitable. Love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome. So
so
let's talk about that launch, right?
yeah,
So what did you do? What was the focus? Because you're building your own name, image, and likeness
it's
in
funny
the
how that
NIL
happened.
space, right?
Yeah.
You're
And
building your brand.
I had to leave Fox to do this because they owned my name, image, and likeness.
Really?
See how it all comes back into play? Like it's not a new thing. This has been around forever. It's just new for
Yeah.
athletes.
So they do they still own it?
Not anymore. My
Okay.
contract's up with them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they own all the stuff you did in the past, right?
Sure. And
Yeah.
for a year, I couldn't show up on a competitor's
Network.
work.
That's so crazy. Like all the non-compete stuff. Like you leave, goodbye. You should be able to do whatever you want. It's
Whatever.
stupid.
Whatever.
But
It's fine.
so you got day one, you're launching. Who was your market? Who was your ideal client? If you could paint that picture of what you're looking to accomplish in week one, what was going
Mhm.
on?
Yeah, so we had prepped everything. So I had like my list of 100, right? Like my dream 100 list of people that I wanted to reach out to, let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Um, and how can we move forward potentially together? Out of the gate, one of my first phone calls was to the WIA because in Wisconsin, high school athletes still couldn't capitalize on their NIL until this past
Okay.
spring.
Okay.
So when we launched, it had failed the spring before, which we watched very, very closely. It failed the year before because all the ADs from all the schools have to vote on whether or not to pass it. By the following fall, Wisconsin was one of only like 10 schools that was left, or 10 states that was left that still
Yeah.
hadn't passed it. WIA brought us in to help educate all of their member schools, ADs and presidents and principals and
Yeah.
superintendents of their like 500 plus schools on the NIL language they'd be voting on, because one of their biggest things was they didn't understand it. They didn't understand
Yeah.
how it would impact them. They thought it'd make more work for them. And
Yeah.
so they brought us in, we did that. And that allowed us to at least start establishing credibility. And we had a lot of credibility. Number one, because Joe was an AD. He was just
Yeah.
like all these guys that we were and girls that we were now serving. And so
Yeah.
he understands what they're going through and what they care about and why they don't like certain aspects of the language. So he could speak directly to them. So I think that that was really beneficial. And then that's allowed us to now partner down with schools, which allow us to infiltrate athletes, right? And get more exposure to the individual athletes.
Yeah.
And it's also a matter of word of mouth, right? Like we've had, I swear most of my private clients have been from word of mouth of one girl works with me and then she's telling her other girl on her club volleyball team who's telling her other friend who's a golfer at Iowa State or, that's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
And which is a good thing because then that means that they're happy with the service and, and all of the private clients that we have. I mean, I still stay on as an advisor. They still text me asking me like, "Hey, what do you think about this? Is this kind of shady? What
Yeah.
do you think I should say back?" So that mentor mentee relationship
Yeah.
continues.
So what did you have to do to get yourself up to speed in that whole world of NIL?
Well, I'm a journalist, right?
Yep.
And so I'm really good at researching.
Yep.
And, I'm good because of having to follow court cases during my career and all that. I've just learned how to read and understand that language that was
And where to
happening
go to
in
get it.
these and where to go to get it,
Yeah.
right? And how to actually ask the right questions to get the right answers. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think for anybody in this space, right? Everybody's trying to research and get up to speed, but that's what it really comes down to. So if I get a new client who's going to, USC, and I haven't had a client who's going to USC yet, I need to do my own due diligence and my research as to what USC's NIL
Yeah.
policy is so that when I educate them, I'm confident in what I'm teaching them in a simplified version so that they can actually understand it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, it's fast changing. That's the other part of it too, is that every other day there's
It's
another
different.
lawsuit being
Yeah.
settled, which means another
Right.
rule is being changed. So it's
What do you think should happen with it? I mean, it's out of hand now. You know what I mean? The transfer portal's crazy. The
yeah.
NILs, it's like the wild, wild west, and
Mhm.
it's like anybody does whatever they want.
They're trying to rein it in.
Right.
That House versus NCAA lawsuit that was finally settled this past spring, that a lot of the parameters went into place July 1st, that established the College Sports Commission. What do they do? Well, they're trying to bring legitimacy to NIL deals, meaning that a company can't just say, "Hey, I'll pay you 200 grand if you come play football at this school," because that's what was
Yeah.
happening, right? They have to actually do something for that money, and it has to be
Right.
fair market value, whatever that means.
Yeah. How do
And
you define
so,
that?
right, which is hard to do, right?
Yeah.
It's very subjective. And
Right.
so the College Sports Commission's been formed. This new website clearinghouse called NIL Go, nilgo.com, has been created that's overseen by the College Sports Commission and the NCAA and Deloitte, because they're the one helping to oversee everything, where athletes now have to disclose their NIL deal. So this is how they're checking for the legitimacy and the fair, like all those things. So they're checking now. Schools have their own disclosure policies. And now high school athletes have to do the same thing. That just happened this past fall. It just went into effect. It was like a big, like, we knew it was kind of potentially coming, but then it's
Yeah.
just dropped one day. And it's like, but effective as of today, and it's like, everyone's scrambling, right? Like, make sure
Yeah.
you're disclosed. I'm texting all my girls, like, who are still in high school who have deals, but they're going D1.
Right.
So it's just, there's a lot of that, but I'm fine with that. I mean, I like that
Yeah.
fast moving environment. That's what I came from. I lived and
Right.
breathed news for 17
Yeah.
years.
But now you're like a lawyer.
No, don't say that.
But you have to understand all the laws, all the
I'm more
changes.
fun than a
Yeah.
lawyer.
You're
No,
well, there's a
I'm
couple
just
fun
kidding.
lawyers
No,
somewhere, I'm
I
sure.
we have some. I know some good fun lawyers. I was
Yeah.
just kidding. No, and I always am very careful about that. I never try to be perceived as legal counsel. I always tell all my clients, look, the first contract you send for a partnership with a small business that you're going to send them a contract for, make sure you have an attorney write up that first one.
Yeah.
Have them write up the first one where you can interchange the names and the terms and the things like that. But that first one, spend the money on it, make sure you're protected,
Yeah.
and then you can just use it from partnerships there on out. But like, do it, take the right steps because it's going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you look at all these athletes. So you're working with high school girls, right?
High
College
school
girls,
and college. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're so busy in there. And some of these
Yeah.
girls are they're year round, multiple sports or one sport with coaches and all kinds of craziness. They got to go to school, everything.
Hmm.
How do you help them see their value and who they are as an athlete so they can go out there and get that deal?
Well, number one, we do it very quickly because they don't have time to spend. They don't have
Yeah.
6 months to spend with me.
Right.
They don't have it. They have 4 weeks, but they don't have 6 months. And so whatever we do it very, very quickly. But that's a huge piece of it
Yeah.
is what value do you have other than being an awesome athlete?
Yeah.
Because there's tens of thousands of amazing athletes out there, right? I mean, 500,000 of them go on to play their sport D1, D2, D3 every single year.
Yeah.
500,000. So how are you going to stand out and make a business want to partner with you versus
Yeah.
superstar Susie over there? And the way that you do that is by pulling that other value they have out of them. They have it. I know that they have it. They
Right.
doubt that they have it. But then once we start doing the work, and we call it personal branding work, but what it
Yeah.
really is pulling out that value and finding that uniqueness and leaning into it and then building around it.
So what do you think they should start thinking about first? If it's okay, it's time to find outside the athletic space, where do they look to find their value?
To find their value or to find businesses to potentially pitch to?
A little bit of both. So the value they, hey, I can bring this to XYZ. Well, here's the
Yeah.
company that I should talk to.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think a lot of athletes, one of the greatest ways that they can start this NIL journey is either if they're allowed to, and again, I preface this with if you're allowed. Most athletic associations, state athletic associations, allow high schoolers to have their a camp or clinic or do something like that. College, same exact thing. Run your own, host your own camp or clinic. Wisconsin, for example, actually doesn't allow their athletes to be self-employed utilizing their sport. So make sure you check your rules. But college, you can totally do this. And it's one of the most popular NIL activities, if you want to call them that. And that's having your own camp or a clinic where you are utilizing your skill and talent and probably notoriety within your
Yeah.
community to teach the younger level. Like I just got an email tonight from an AD. Hey, this grandfather contacted me and wanted to know if the varsity basketball player at this high school can give him private lessons. Is that allowed or not? In Wisconsin, it's not actually. So, but that sort of stuff is happening all the
Yeah.
time. And so that's a really great way to get started because it's simple, right? It's
Yeah.
simple to get started
Easy.
and do something like that. And you do it
Yeah.
in collaboration either with your school or your club or whoever, you
Yeah.
use the facilities. So that's what I would suggest is that start looking number one at the unique things that you bring to the table because a lot of times there's businesses that align to that, and that's
Yeah.
another great place to start too.
So what's going on in Wisconsin that they don't want to do this kind of stuff? Is there somebody who's sitting at the top of some podium who never been an athlete and doesn't want this to happen?
No, not at all. Not at all, actually. Stephanie Hauser, who's the executive director of the WIA, she's got a kid who plays for the Celtics.
Wow.
I
Okay.
mean, she's like, and she was an amazing athlete herself. So no, I would say, I mean, she wants the opportunities for the kids, but does want to make sure that the integrity of high school sports
Stays
is
intact.
stays intact. And
Yeah.
so do I, to be
Yeah, of
honest with
course.
you. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that there is ironing out that's happening at the college level. I think it's going to be another 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
before people start feeling as though it's not like this crazy, chaotic world. I think
Right.
it's going to take that much longer. I do.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many things that still have to be settled and ironed
Yep.
out, and changes are going to take place and they're going to pull things back. It's just going to happen because it's
Yeah.
new, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think in Wisconsin, they've passed it. So when we came in and we educated, they passed it that spring 3-1, flying colors. Okay. After failing it miserably the year before. So they passed it. They just have certain rules in place. That's just one of those funny rules that they have that a lot of other states don't,
Yep.
that actually has nothing to do with NIL. It was a rule that existed before even the NIL language was in there. It's not even in their NIL section. It's like in a different area of their rules, but you can't, as an athlete, be self-employed utilizing your sport. You know, not like mowing lawns, but like,
Yeah.
so,
It's so crazy the rules, right?
yeah.
So what kind of mindset do the girls have to have in order to believe that, like, hey, I can go out there and make this happen? Do you work with them on that side of it too?
Huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where it starts, to be
Yeah.
honest. We don't get into anything. We don't get into any of the branding. We don't get into any of the present stuff or media training or any of that until we talk about mindset first. And we talk about the 4 levels of skill development and how important it is to understand that if you suck at something because you've never done it before, that's okay. You're supposed to. You're at the first stage of the skill development, right? And we can never skip stages. realize that there's only one direction to go. So you're going to get better, right? And I
Yeah.
think having that switch flip in their mind is really big. So then we go into the branding and then we go into the value and they start shrinking down again because then they start doubting themselves. Well, am I actually really that great at that? Or am I actually, all of those self-doubt things come up, right? And we
Right.
bring that back in. And then once we get to the pitching aspect of it, it's like, I don't think that I can actually do that. I don't think that I can actually go out there. So that's where we work, or I work with them on
Yeah.
what I call proactive confidence, different than reactive confidence,
Right.
right? And we develop proactive confidence by developing evidence, and we get evidence by
Yeah.
practicing. So basically, the more reps you get in, the better you're going to get inevitably.
Yeah.
So the first call you're going to make to a business is probably going to suck a lot worse than the 10th call you make to a
It can only
business.
get better. It can't get
You only
worse.
get better.
Yeah.
My whole thing is like, just do it.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you, right?
Yeah.
Safe space, do it with
Yeah.
me. I'll give you a couple of pointers and then we're actually going to do the thing because rip the band-aid off. Business owners are going to look at you and be like, wow, I can't believe this
Yeah. Now with all
16-year-old
the
is coming to me with this.
yeah, but with all the experience you have in journalism and
Yeah.
broadcasting and TV, I mean, they must look up to you and say, I'm like, just show me how to talk to people.
Well, I think the one thing that really has benefited me that I look at now and like hindsight's 2020 always as one of the biggest benefits of having worked in TV and been in the position that I was for as long as I was is because of all the different people, the powerful people I was exposed to, whether it was presidential candidates or attorneys or big time, whoever it was, right?
Yeah.
And got the chance to realize and see that they're totally normal people. They're just normal, regular people. And so
Yeah.
that's what I try to impose on my girls is that, like, don't just because this person has owned this business for 30 years, or just because this person lives in the biggest house in your community because
Yeah.
they own 5 car washes or whatever, don't, they're a regular person who
They
deals
put their
with
pants
stomach
on the same
aches
way.
and deals with all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff just like you
Yep.
do, right? And
Yep.
so I think that that has helped me. Number one, of me putting myself in front of people and just being like, well, screw it, right? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. If they don't like me, they don't like me. Fine. Which, has gotten me some good situations. But
Yeah.
I think for these girls, they have to have somebody who's telling them it's okay to not be perfect,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
them see that I'm not perfect all the time, right? Like I want them to see that.
Right.
So because it gives them confidence in who
Yeah.
they
Now,
are.
do you bring them back to your first day or two on the job as a in journalism and broadcasting and TV? Like, hey, I can't tell you how nervous I was day one, whatever. Do you get into that at all?
Yeah, I talk about we get into that big time when I talk
Yeah.
about presence. So I tell this story about when I had my first job out of Penn State in Erie, Pennsylvania, teeny tiny town, knew nobody, right? Million feet of snow. Um, the presidential election was happening and John McCain was running. Sarah Palin was his running mate, and Sarah Palin was coming to town for this big vice presidential rally. And they chose me to be the reporter who was going to be inside the venue on the media rafters,
Oh,
which is like
wow.
the platform built for all the media,
Yeah.
right, to go live from. And I remember thinking it was the coolest thing, right? It was like next to all these national anchors and all this sort of stuff. When I went back that night and watched the national news's coverage of it all, saw the panning shot of the media rafters, never saw myself. And I was like, I'm like dead center. How could I miss my? It's because my hands were crossed, my finger was in my mouth, my shoulders were slumped. I looked like this sheep in a pack of wolves,
Yeah.
right? And so I had no commanding presence about myself. And so we talk about how it's those little tiny soft skills. Like imagine the difference it would have made if I simply would have been standing up tall, put my shoulders back, and had a pleasant look on my face. Like
Yeah.
imagine the difference that that would have made,
So that
right?
must make it's got to make them feel better,
So, I mean, I
right?
hope it does, right? Just the reality of it
Yeah.
all, or, thinking that, like, oh, this is easy. I love talking. I'm just going to talk on TV. This is so simple. And then I went back and watched myself that night and was mortified because I
Yeah.
looked like a robot in this box. And I was like, I blinked a million times and all of those stories.
Yeah.
But again, 4 levels of skill development. You're going to suck in the beginning. But by
Right.
my 13,000th hour of being on live TV, I was
Yeah.
half decent.
So what are the four levels? Break those down.
All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So, so it's the first level is unintentional incompetence.
Yep.
That is where you have no idea what good looks like. And so you have no concept of whether you are good or not good. The second level is, um, hold on, now you're going to stop me now. What was the first level that I said?
Unintentional incompetence.
Unintentional incompetence. The second level is intentional competence,
Intentional competence.
where
Yep.
where you're aware of what good looks like and you realize, oh yeah, no, I'm not it, right? You're aware, you're intentionally aware of your
Yep.
incompetence.
Yep.
Then stage three is intentional competence,
Yep.
where you're good at the thing, but it takes work to be there. You know what good looks like, and you're also good at it, but it takes work to stay there.
Yeah.
And then the final level of skill development is unintentional competence, where you've been doing it for so
It's just
long, it's just
automatic.
become part of who
Yeah.
you are.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so whether
So
you're
what?
learning to tie shoes or bounce a basketball
Yeah.
or do a spin on ice,
Yeah.
right? You
You don't even
have
think
to go through
anymore.
all four levels.
Yeah. So where do you think the girls have the biggest struggle? Is it in the beginning? Is it in the middle? Or where do you think it is?
With NIL,
No, with the four levels.
oh, with the four levels. I would say getting past stage two.
Yeah.
It's always getting past stage two. And for a lot of what I teach and coach with my girls, they're at stage two when they leave me because now
Yeah.
they're aware of what good looks like and what they're
Yeah.
supposed to be, but they're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Right. But then I teach them different techniques. I have this 21-day challenge thing that I provide them that helps them develop new habits very
Yeah.
quickly that will improve upon that skill development to get
Right.
them through those four skills faster.
So that right in the middle of that intentional incompetence
Hmm.
is what I would probably call the valley of despair,
Yeah.
right? It's like either I'm going to climb out of this and succeed, or I'm going to get out of this and quit.
Or it's, oh, I tried this and I suck.
Yeah.
Oh, they said no. That's it. That's more of the hindrance, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because when that happens, and we talk about this too, our brain is not wired for success, right? You've heard this before. It's wired for survival.
Yeah.
So your brain's always wanting to do three things and three things only. Every minute of every waking hour of your day. Okay. It's trying to, number one, conserve energy. Number
Yeah.
two, avoid pain. And number three, seek pleasure.
Yep.
Always trying to do
Yeah.
that. You have to say no in order to circumvent it always getting you to do that,
Yeah.
right? And so we talk about this thing that I call resistance, right? It's when the alarm goes off in the morning and your brain's like, nah, you don't have to get out of bed. That's
Yeah.
the resistance, right? We all feel it. You don't want to make that phone call. You don't want to do that thing you have to do. You don't want to go out and practice and shoot 100 times. That's the resistance that your brain is like, just stay comfortable. Nah, you're
Yeah.
good, right? That is the death of you. That's the death of dreams right there. And to be
Yeah.
honest with you, it's the reason why most people never succeed and actually achieve the goals they set when they're younger
Right.
because they give into the resistance day in and
Yep.
day out. So you have to tell your brain, look, I know that you're trying to keep me safe. And I know that the last time I made that phone call, it was really painful and it really sucked. And I was super embarrassed and I even cried over it. But I'm going to do it again,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
You're
getting
not gonna
back on the
die.
horse.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't die from it, right?
Right? That's it. You're not dead. You're still
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Right. So all the NIL educational stuff that's going on, where do you see the biggest gaps?
In what we're doing. I mean, the gap that we're filling right now. There's
Yeah.
nobody that's really doing what we're doing. There's most companies out there, they're either going the agency route where they're trying to rep these kids, which, by the way, 99.9% of athletes out there do not need agents. You do not need to pay an agent money to email somebody for you. You just don't. There's a lot of
Yeah.
really good agents out there, and there's a lot of athletes who do need agents for specific
Yeah.
reasons. But just like in TV, not everyone needs an agent. You do if you want to do specific things and have certain
Yeah.
doors opened. So I think, when it comes to these kids, they they just need to see the opportunity ahead of them and they
Yeah.
just need to go after it if they're willing to put themselves out there.
Would you consider yourself an NIL coach,
An NIL yeah, we're an
educator,
NIL
coach?
education company. Yep. Yep.
And I'm going to ask a silly question, but what do you think the difference is between, hey, I'm going to coach you on how to do things versus
Yeah.
just tell you what to do?
Yeah. Well, Again, I always say to my clients, I'm not going to just feed you dinner. I'm going to teach you how to fish
There
because
you
I'm
go.
going to leave you tomorrow or the next day or whenever, and you're going to have to find this information on your own. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to help you do it, but I'm going to show you how to do it, how to
Yeah.
find the media contacts, how to find the policy updates, how to do those things. Because I think it's important for them to understand the process versus just getting it on a silver platter, which they do, but I show them the process. And so I think for these kids, um, I think they just need guidance. And I think the hardest part is the beginning because they don't know what the rules are. They're in this analysis paralysis state, and their
Yeah.
parents are like, "Ah, don't get started because you don't really know what to do."
Yeah.
And we really help to fill that education gap of like, look, you want to get started. These are the first couple of steps that you're going to want to
Yeah.
take. You want to take the next few, we'll show you those after.
Okay. So what do you think? I mean, you map this out for them. Here's what you should do. Here's how you do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to coach you how to do it. What do you think holds most of these young girls back from doing it? Anything?
From going out there and pitching themselves for deals, you mean?
Yeah. What do you think?
Confidence.
Anything holding them? It's just the confidence.
Oh,
That's it.
for sure. For sure. Because they have to
Right.
put themselves out there,
Yeah.
right?
How about
They
their
have
parents? Do
to.
the parents get in the way?
Parents come in all shapes and sizes, and you know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And what I have found for the vast majority of athletes I've worked with, it's not the parent dragging the kid along, being like, come on, we're going to do this. We're making the money back that we spent on you. Like
Yeah.
it's not that. It's the kid wanting to pursue it, the parent also being intrigued and then being like, yeah, hey, you want to give it a shot? I'll support you. That has been the conversation. And I think that's a really good way that it should be.
Yeah.
Um, but the parents need just as much educating as the kids do. And we
Yeah.
do that. I mean, all of our sessions when we work with our athletes privately, they're all done virtually. It's all recorded. The parents they're always welcome to be there. Most don't want to be there because they know their kid comes out of their shell more when they're not there.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think that's a good thing. But the recordings are always available for them to watch because I think,
Oh, that's
especially,
great.
yeah, especially the foundational ones where we go over rules and stuff, it's good for them to know that so they can support their son or daughter through it.
So is there a moment in time when you're coaching these young girls when all of a sudden you see the light bulb go off? You're like, she gets it now.
I think when we start talking about brand alignment, because everyone's thinking Lululemon and Nike and
Yeah.
Gatorade, that's where everyone thinks with NIL. And that's fine and aim high and shoot
Yeah.
high. But I think once, again, we do the work on the personal brand. What value do you have? What uniqueness do you have? What other things are you good at? What things do you like outside your sport? That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we use that to find businesses that they're probably already utilizing
Yeah.
and show them how that alignment works and how they could pitch to a business like that. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's not just like, hey, can you do a deal with me? And I'm like,
Right.
no,
So
it's
they have to
not.
show the business why they should work with them.
You got to lead with the
Yeah.
value you can provide, right? I mean,
Right.
these businesses, they're taking a chance, not number one on a teenager, but number two, it's marketing dollars.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
either being lit on fire or they're generating more money. They're one or
Yeah.
the other.
So with the girls, is there a process they go through to help them identify what they're unique at?
Yeah, they work with me. We talk through it. We go through different frameworks of their unique brand characteristics. We talk through a lot of stuff, and we go deep on a lot of different things, whether it's their values, the things that they really care about, causes they care about, their personal story, whether it's injury or challenges or other
Yeah.
setbacks, or maybe not. Maybe it was inspired by somebody. We go through all of those different avenues, and everything that I teach, it's always teach, apply, teach,
Yeah.
apply. Because I remember being in school and even going through other coaching programs, and I've worked with a lot of different types of people, of learning a ton. I'm like, okay, but like, great in theory, but how do I actually apply this to my situation? Like,
Yeah.
okay, what am I supposed to do? So I always give the what am I supposed to do with
Yeah.
this now? Right. And so when they work with me privately, we do that work together. When people buy our digital courses, because we also sell what we teach with our private clients in a digital course version for both males and females,
Yeah.
um, there's a workbook and they're guided through the exercises there.
Now, How long does it take from a hello to a deal? Meaning hello to you, and they meet you for the first time,
Yeah.
and they go through your system, your process. Is it roughly all the same amount of time, or everybody's different?
Everyone's different.
Yeah,
Everyone's different. It depends when their reach out starts. Some girls are so ambitious and they're reaching out like in week two because
yeah,
they're like, yeah, I can do this. I know what the rules
yeah,
are now. I'm doing it. I'm reaching out. Oh, by the
yep,
way, I emailed 15 people yesterday and I'm like, great.
yeah,
We haven't even gotten to that part yet, but
yeah,
like, great. I'll never squash that ambition,
yep.
right? I'll teach you how to maybe finesse and polish it up and do it a nicer way, but whatever, do it. Get out there and do the thing. I think um, but everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Everyone learns at a different pace.
So, what kind of mistakes do you see the girls making? Anything jump out? Hey, if they could just fix these two or three things, man, it would change everything.
Oh, mistakes, not like NIL violation mistakes, but mistakes within themselves
Yeah,
on not being as marketable as they could be.
right.
Yeah, um I think not realizing that your personal brand is not just social media. Your personal brand is simply what people think when they think of you. So what pours into that? It's how you show up. That could be in person, that could be on social media. That's how you treat people. That's how involved you are in your community. That's how your family is respected in the community. Like all of that stuff pours into your personal brand, if you want to use a
Yeah,
fancy name for it, which is simply what people think when they think of you. So I think
right.
these girls, they don't realize that, right? They're like, well, on social media, all I have is just like pictures of me playing lacrosse and working out. But people say that I'm not relatable. And it's like, because there's so much more to you than that. And
Yeah,
that's very superficial, right? And also,
yeah.
people know that you're not the greatest of teammates and they know. So
Mhm.
you have to be honest and you have to. And sometimes there are hard conversations that I have to have with athletes of like, look, you know, your social media is showing some stuff that I would be blushing if my grandmother was looking at that, kind of
Yeah,
thing. So sometimes there are and I'm like, look, you can do whatever you want. I will never tell you what to do. This is
yeah,
you. You've paid for my services and I am
yeah,
here. I'm here to tell you what works and I'm here to tell you the right way that I believe. But if you disagree with that, that's fine. That's on you.
yeah,
Um, but I think that the biggest mistake that they make is not realizing that businesses buy their brand, their story,
yeah.
and they don't care enough about that act. They don't, number one, they either try to hide it or they try to, I don't know, put forward something that isn't necessarily
Huh.
honest,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So when you see the girls with for lack of better words, the crazy social media stuff, like, hey, I don't know if that should be on there or not. Are many of the girls open to, hey, I'll take that down?
Yes, because again, I never tell them to, but I just kind of watch to see what happens. And they
Yeah,
realize it, right? Because I
yeah,
paint the picture for them. I give them real life scenarios
yeah,
of businesses that have walked away from athletes because of a red solo cup in her hand in one picture, right?
yeah,
It doesn't have to be anything over the top or crazy promiscuous but it could be a song choice, it could be a caption, it could be what you're wearing, it could be a
yeah.
pose, it could be anything. And if the business doesn't feel as though you're an asset through and
Right.
through and could potentially be a liability in some capacity,
Yeah,
they're never going to take the risk on you. They're already taking a risk on you. Like that's what these athletes need to realize is that they're not coming forward as this, renowned celebrity who anyone will buy anything this person is trying to sell.
yeah,
No, these businesses are taking risks on partnering with teenagers who have a little bit of cred,
yep,
probably,
yep,
but they need to eliminate any other possible risk
yeah,
that they
yeah,
can.
yeah. Which sometimes is hard. It's hard. I think sometimes it's hard for the younger kids because we were all young ones, right? For them to see it.
It
Like
is.
they're blind by stupidity sometimes.
Which, and I hear this from parents all the time, which is the only reason why I'm saying this, but I also know this from being a kid. When you hear it from somebody else who's not mom or dad,
Oh
parent
yeah.
or coach,
Oh my
it
God,
just
yeah.
hits a little different. So when I'm brought into the picture,
Yeah.
sometimes it hits a little different. Not all the time, but sometimes it does simply because I'm the one who's saying it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I can also speak from a place of experience and talk about mistakes that I personally made and the repercussions that followed and
Yeah.
help them be like, please, see through my eyes what
Yeah.
could happen.
How about body language? You get into that much?
A ton. That's what our entire phase three of our four-phase process is about. It's all
All
about
right.
body language.
I heard, obviously Nick Saban, who Nick Saban is.
Sure.
And I saw one of his videos, I don't know, forever ago. And he has a video about what are you selling? He goes, I can tell what you're selling in your body language. And your girlfriend broke up with you, I can tell by the way you're walking. You failed a test, I can tell by the way your head is. You had a late night drinking too much with your buddies, I can tell by the way you're lagging. How do you communicate body language to the girls?
I just always, when I try to get them to see something from my perspective, which is much more wise and older than they are, and things that I wish that I would have known when I was their age, I always like to paint the picture of what they want. I know that they want, right?
Yeah.
They think that they might be there, but they realize they're not. Paint a picture of what they want and let them, as I kind of tell stories and things like that, figure out their own journey to that and realize, like, oh, wait, maybe the way that I was doing it really wasn't great, So it's about letting them come to their own realization about a lot of this stuff is what's actually going to get them to either make a change or do the thing
Yeah.
or delete the post or yeah, it's like to help them make that realization for themselves versus being like, you should do this and you should
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard not to just like, what are you crazy? Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a parent.
Yeah.
It's like, I would
Yeah.
kill my kid. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
So,
so confidence. Confidence is everything, right? The more
everything.
confidence the girls have, the more comfortable they are going to do things. Yeah. Is there a process, a program that you help the girls build their own internal confidence?
I don't think that I mean, there's not a program for it. It's woven throughout everything that we do
Right?
because I talk about the fact of like, look, when you're going to go into these situations, whether you're walking into a business to introduce yourself for the first time, or you're walking onto a college campus and you're meeting a coach for the first time, if you're going through a recruitment process, this applies to much more than just NIL, right? I think that's the beauty of it. But it's okay if inside you're like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out right now. That's fine. Don't think that you're crazy. Like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with you because you're not fully like, I'm good and I'm great. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just exude confidence. And you just need to do that by, and I have like my three essentials that I call them by smiling, standing tall, and keeping your shoulders back. Super simple. People never think about it. Makes a world of difference. So
Yeah.
you can freak out all you want inside, but inside or on the outside, you're exuding that confidence so people
Yeah.
don't know otherwise. And so it's a fake it till you make it kind of a thing
Yeah.
because confidence only comes from reps. So
Yeah.
you have to accept the fact that you're not going to be confident at first. You're going to have to accept
Yeah.
the fact that you're not going to be perfect at first because confidence only comes from reps.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. You can't just like self-talk your way to confidence. I mean, people are into that whole thing, but I don't think that that works personally. I
And you got to
think that
take action.
you have to do the thing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order to be confident that you can
Yeah.
do the thing
Yeah.
or fail at the thing and not die, you
Yeah.
know? So
So, how about life after the sport? Do you get into that a lot with the girls? Hey, you know what? This sport's not going to last forever, and what takes place after that?
it's the entire point of NIL, in my opinion. It's the beauty of NIL. It's not what I used to sell the kids on my coaching program, but it's what I used to sell the parents, right? Because the kids
Yeah.
don't want to talk about the end ever.
No, nobody does.
Former athlete, parents, a lot of times former athletes, they
Yeah.
know they get it. That time sucks in an
Yeah.
athlete's life, whether it's by choice, eligibility, or like in my case, injury. When that end date comes,
It's horrible.
right? This thing that's been a part of your life for as long as
Yeah.
you haven't had internships. Most of these college athletes have never had summer jobs or anything because they've been so busy playing their sport. So they have nothing to show for it. So we use NIL, and I talk about this with the girls all the time once they're in. We use NIL as really the springboard to get you professional experience, to start developing a network and building relationships now
Yeah.
while you're competing, doing pretty cool stuff so that when your end date comes, you have people to tap into, a
Yep.
resume to tap into,
You have
which
your
will
own
help
network.
launch you into
Yeah.
that next career path, whatever path you choose.
You know, you hit that on the head a second ago about athletes when their career's over.
Yeah.
I say athletes die twice. You know, the first time when their career ends,
It's so true.
yeah,
I
most of
mean,
the
I
time,
went through it. I
yeah,
mean, every athlete out there, regardless of whether they stopped after high school or not, I mean,
yeah,
you go through some
yeah.
element of feeling like this identity crisis,
It's
right?
over.
This,
Right.
yeah, I was always Steph the skater and then I'm not one day. It just was
Yeah,
very bizarre, right?
yeah,
And so that's, I mean, one of the, another, again, another huge reason why we saw NIL when we were starting to build our company as really this opportunity that these kids can take advantage of. Yes, for the short-term money now. Yes, I'll never
yeah,
poo-poo that. I think that's a great thing. But what it really does is it helps bridge that gap
yeah,
that exists for so many of these athletes in their development, and that's that professional development. It allows them to start doing things while they're still
yeah.
competing so that when their end date comes, they're already
They're
good at
ready.
all that stuff. They
Right.
know how to interview, they know how to do,
Yeah.
pitch themselves and do all the things.
Because if they're not ready when that end date comes, and it's usually because somebody told them they have to stop. They don't stop because they want to. They stop because they got injured, they're too old, they're not as good anymore. Like I can make this laundry
Yep.
list, and
Yep.
it's not their own choice. And if
Right.
they're not prepared, they could go into depression, 6, 8 months, 10 months of what do I do now? And it just gets crazy.
Well, and I can attest to that because when we started our company, I can't tell you the number of athletes that reached out to me on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, I'm a former D1 athlete. I'm a former Olympic sailor. I'm a former blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my next chapter. And I was thinking about potentially going into coaching. 'Cause that's always the obvious route, go into
Yeah.
coaching, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure that I want to do that. Are you looking to hire? Because I think what you're doing is really so. All of these out, like they're all in the same position. They're like,
Yeah.
and I talked to a bunch of them. I have tons of Zoom calls that I just do just to offer free advice for people because
Yeah.
people help me, and so I like to give back. And they're all in the same boat. There are these super successful superstar athletes in their day. Now it's over, and now
Uh-oh.
they have to like be normal, and they don't know what to do. They don't even
Yeah.
know where to start, and they have no resume whatsoever and no career experience. Yeah, they went to college, but they don't have any career experience, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And so we use NIL to hopefully eliminate that for the athletes who are taking
Yeah.
advantage of it. Because it is
That's awesome.
more, it's much more than just the transfer portal chaos and the short-term
Yep.
deals it is more than that.
You're
It is.
preparing them for life.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I teach. Yes, I
Yeah.
teach rules when it comes to NIL, but I teach life skills.
Yeah.
I literally am teaching life skills, right?
Yeah.
Wrapped in an NIL bow.
It's life after the game. What are you going to do?
Yep. Yep.
Right. So, how can people get a hold of you? And if so, if you could paint the picture, the ideal customer, client, whatever you want to define it, who is it and how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. So I would say if you're in high school, start thinking about this sort of stuff, right? If you are, again, with our private coaching, when you work directly with me, that's when we only do females. All of our digital course programming or working with different institutions and clubs, we serve both male and females in those capacities. But private coaching wise, high school, junior, I know you got a lot going on, senior, okay, things start winding down a little bit now that you've verbally committed or signed or whatever you've done at this point. And now we're building that brand, we're building that foundation, we're getting you a couple of small local deals to start getting your feet wet, getting you more experience so that when you do make that jump to college, it's not a whole bucket of firsts for the first time, right? Like it's not a whole bucket of new where you're a college student for the first time, you're a college athlete for the first time. Oh yeah, let's try to figure out this whole NIL thing for the first time. That's why I like that high school age
Yeah.
range. Junior, senior high school is really that sweet spot. And people can simply come to influentialathlete.com. You can book a free call, a complimentary 30-minute strategy call with me. I always suggest parents and athlete be on that call so we can all collectively talk
Yeah.
together. And then if you want to get a hold of me directly or have any individual questions, Stephanie at influentialathlete.com. Pretty simple.
I mean, that's awesome that you give a 30-minute hello.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on. Now, let me ask you this. This is probably I probably shouldn't ask this, but I'm gonna. Is Do you ever turn anybody away? Like, I
Yeah.
can't help you. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I just can't help you. And what does
Yes.
that look like?
Well, there has to be alignment, right? These kids have to understand that there is a level of work that's involved in order to be successful. If
Yeah,
my clients are successful, I'm successful. If
right.
I teach my clients, but they refuse to do the work, and I can just tell that they're expecting things to fall into their laps, then
Hmm.
I can't help you.
Yeah,
Like they're not going to fall in your lap. I don't know what else to tell you. You can wait, and that's fine, and maybe throw it in my face in a couple of years if it happens. But so I mean, what does that look like? I just think it's just, you know, it's as simple as, look, I think that there's not alignment here, and I think that maybe what you're looking for isn't necessarily what I can provide you.
yeah,
Um, and if I can refer them to somebody else if they're looking for an agent or something like that, and they're
yeah.
just gung ho on and set on that, then I can connect them.
Okay. I would imagine like they got to bring the same athletic intensity to this to make it work. They can't just come and let's check it out. Let's see what's like. They got to bring the same intensity, the same emotion, the same drive to this to propel themselves in that space, or else it
And
just
the
doesn't
cool
work.
and the cool thing is that most of your athletes that are going to go on and play D1 college,
They bring it.
they bring it because they're
Yeah,
wired that way,
yeah.
right? It's the reason why I like working with athletes, because I get asked that question by parents, you should really teach this to the whole school. Why do
No.
you only teach this to the athletes? It's like, well, because I don't know, like 7 out of the 10 athletes are going to do what I say. 3 out of the 10 regular
Yeah.
student body are going to do what I say,
If
right? It's
that.
just like they're
Yeah,
just wired a little bit differently.
yeah.
I mean, I know I'm stereotyping, but
No, but you're right.
you know what I
And it's
mean.
funny when you say it, right? If I always say to people, and you've heard this before, is like, does she have it? Does he have it? Well, what's
Mhm.
it? Well, if you have to ask, that means you don't have it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Right. It's
and they
just
just
like
don't
it's
get it.
this special little, she's just got it. Yep, it's just something
Yeah, it just
special.
comes with the
And
package.
and to be honest with you, not every athlete has to have that amazing charisma and be
Yeah,
super outgoing and
right.
engaging and beautiful, and like
Yep.
you don't have to be that way.
No.
You don't, and be successful, because there's a niche for you.
Hmm.
Being the way you are, that a super charismatic, engaging, everything put together
Yeah.
girl couldn't fill. So
They just
again,
they.
stay in
I
your
just.
lane, own
Yep.
it. There's a spot for you.
That's it. I think they just need to want something, right? Whatever that something is, you'll help them figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that that's where, like, helping to breed that entrepreneurial spirit. Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, doing NIL, you're simply just creating a little entrepreneurial business for yourself, right? You're marketing yourself as your
Yeah.
business. And if you have that entrepreneurial itch and spark and can just figure things out as you go versus
Yeah.
needing like step by step, these are the rules and this is exactly what you need to do, then you can be successful. Those who want all the hand holding, you can only handhold so much. At some point, we have to let go,
Yeah. Let
right?
it
And you
go.
got to make the phone call yourself. I can't
Yeah.
call for you. That
Yeah.
just seems
Yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah. So you've been in business now for how long?
How long has it been? October of 2024. So
So
a year and not even a half yet, a year and a few
okay.
months.
And things are going great, right?
Things are going good. Things are going really,
So
really good. Yeah.
the reason I'm asking you that is like you're new. You're new as far as what I mean, you got a gazillion years in front of you to continue to impact so many people. I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to fast forward 20 years from now.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time when someone's going to look back and say, "Boy, Steph Grady, yeah, she was what? How do you want to be remembered? How do you want people to look back and say, "Man, she was what?"
Yeah. I honestly, it's inspirational. I
Uh-huh.
want that. I want I want people to be inspired to take the risks, to do the thing, to suffer through the bad, knowing that there's a good thing on the other end. I've done that through every stage of life. I've never taken the easy route. I've always, like, I took the job where I had to move to all the places and do like, and so I think when I just want to help inspire people that, look, you have it in you too.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just need a little help identifying it and having it pulled out, right? Mine's more maybe at the
Yeah.
surface, but you got it too. Let me inspire you to do the same
Yeah.
thing, you know?
So who inspired you? Like who got you up and going? Who got you to be the person to to take all this risk?
Um, I don't know. I mean, my dad's a oral maxillofacial surgeon, but he had his own
Okay.
private practice. So he was a business owner first, right? Like you
Yeah.
can be the best doctor in the world, but if you can't run a business, like your business is going to be terrible. So he was a business owner first. And so I think that I got a lot of my entrepreneurial, I don't know, desire from him being able
Hmm.
to kind of run his own thing and call his
Right.
own shots and be his own boss. My mom too, though, like I mean, she was a mom to four kids, so she ended up staying home with us, but she has a master's degree and she had started her own business. She's an amazing painter and does stained glass. And
Cool.
so I just think that the spark has always been there of just like, just do it. Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? You fall over and fall on your face. Who
Yeah.
cares, right? But I've also just been I think I'm just wired that way. I think that I have this feeling of like, meh, well, somebody's got to do it. Might as well be me. That's
Yeah.
always been my mentality. I used to say when I was little, I want to be president of the United States. My mom was like, oh, honey, I think that's a little bit of a
You
reach.
got time.
I was like, well, mom, somebody's got to do it and might as well
Yeah.
be me. And she's like, okay, all right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great way to go look at anything.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I always have. I always have. It was like, well, why not me?
Yeah.
Like I'm smart. I can figure it out. I mean, so yeah, the only thing I can't do is code. I can't I'm not diving into that world yet.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Well, Steph, we covered a lot of stuff.
We
We
did.
talked about the beginning of your career. We talked about your company. We talked about the impact you're making. I love the four levels of skill development, your whole business, who you're impacting, ideal client. Is there anything we haven't talked about you think we should hit before we wrap it up?
I think that people have a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to NIL. And in a lot of respects, for good reason.
Hmm.
We created our company to be one of the good guys, to help athletes see the opportunity that NIL in its most simplistic form presents and how it can really be a springboard for them for a successful life after sports and in their future. And I think that there are other good guys in the pool playing as well. And I think that as many sharks as there out that are out there, as many of the attention grabbing headlines that you might see about NIL, realize that for most athletes, that's not what NIL is. And it's really something that they should consider trying to pursue because honestly, it can do nothing but good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I love what you said. You're part of the good guys
Yeah.
because there's not a lot. There's a good amount, but there's not a lot.
When a new industry forms and there's money to be made,
Oh yeah, the
people come
sharks
out
come
looking
out.
for their piece,
Yeah,
and I think that people realize that, but they don't realize how slimy and sneaky they actually can be,
yeah,
right? And you just have these families who are dealing with a million different things or trying to do best for their kid and you see them signing their life away in perpetuity for
yeah,
it's horrible, right?
yeah,
So we want to help educate where necessary and then show the path of these are the skills that you need to
yeah.
develop. This is how you develop them if you actually want to be marketable and successful. We'll teach you how to do it.
That's it. That's awesome. Great. Well, listen, I'm hoping from this show that your phone rings off the hook. You get emails like crazy
I
and
hope
you get
so.
clients like crazy. But Steph, thanks for being on the show.
You bet.
Appreciate it. I can't wait to see your continued success and growth and the impact you're making on these young women. It's priceless.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for bringing on, and I always wrap it up by saying stay strong.
Stay strong.